Welcome back, everybody. We are talking about playoffs here. The Steelers clinching the AFC North Division. So let's take a look right now at where things stand in the AFC as a total. And just a friendly reminder, tonight, Monday night, the Bills are playing at the Patriots. So things could change a little bit here. The Chiefs locked up the 1 seed right now. The Steelers and Bills are at 2 and 3. And then a lot can happen in terms of the rest of the seeding. The Ravens and the Browns, both, if they win their Week 17 game, are in. The Colts are the guys on the outside looking in right now. So obviously a lot plays into what happens tonight in that Bills game. But Prisuta, for you, what are you doing in terms of Ben Roethlisberger or any of the Steelers starters / veterans on Sunday in Cleveland at this point?
Not even bringing them on the trip. All right, you've already lost and Bud Dupree. Okay, Highsmith, you're not playing. T.J. Watt, you're not playing. Playing the role of Minka Fitzpatrick will be Sean Davis. Justin Lane's going to play a lot of cornerback. Marquise Pouncey's not playing. J.C. Hassenauer, come on down. Mason Rudolph, Duck Hodges, Josh Dobbs, Terry Hanratty, Mike Kruzak, whoever you want to bring in, Mark Malone, anybody but Ben is playing quarterback. The receivers are sitting. I'm not getting anybody else hurt. Job one, the only job, is get out of Cleveland healthy. Okay,
Wolf, what about you?
You know, I'm going to take my guys all through the week, and I want to make sure that they're all preparing the same level of intensity. I don't even want them to have a hint that they're not going to play at all. I'm going to make sure that as we proceed through the warm-up procedures and everything, I'm going to take them, and I'm probably going to start them. I may, depends on, you know, Mike knows his guys like nobody else. I'm sure Arthur will back me up on that. He gets their pulse. And I may pull some guys at the last second, but I want these guys to go through everything as they need to be prepared, because I got to tell you something. They call it lightning in a bottle right there. They've got to somehow retain some of that magic. And to me, the only way to do it, back in my day, the way we did it was you continued to play. Now, Chuck would pull you out early if you had the playoffs coming up there, but you'd still go through the process of preparing to and lining up to play.
All right, Arthur, you have personally been through this with Coach Tomlin. Of course, his press conference is tomorrow at noon. The Bills game has not happened yet. So what are you doing at this point? What do you think he's going to do?
Yeah, knowing Coach Tomlin, he's going to take a similar approach to Wolf in terms of them going through the practices and things like that. But I think the difference is, in the past, with Coach Tomlin, especially that 2017 year where we already locked up the 2 seed, he had the main guys out in terms of Ben, Le'Veon, AB at the time, and I think Pouncey and DeCastro. But a lot of us defensively who were still younger players who still hadn't established ourselves as full-time starters, we were still out there, because the other thing they tell you is, as much as we would love to rest all 22 starters, offense and defense, because it's the regular season roster, you just aren't capable of having that many people out on a particular game day. So that's another reason that plays into it, man. But to me, I treat it same mentality as Wolf. If anything, I don't want to see the guys longer than a quarter, though, personally. 2 quarters are absolute max, because you do want that rhythm going into the postseason. It's not like years past where you're going to face a down team. I mean, some of these 6 and 7 seeds are potentially going to be really, really good teams that you're going to be facing. And I don't think we can afford a slow start versus some of these teams that we're going to see come playoff time.
All right, guys. Well, thanks so much for joining me here on the Extra Point. Hat and T-shirt time is over, focusing on Week 17 and then the postseason. As the Steelers said, they have bigger goals in mind. That's going to do it for us here today. Thanks for joining us. Have a great night, everybody. We will see you back here next week.
Ben beats it easily. Pump fake going down the middle, open, and it is caught for a touchdown. What a comeback. Juju Smith-Schuster puts the Steelers ahead.
We got some big battles that lie ahead, man. But today, we're humbled and honored to be AFC North champs. When we started this journey on July 20th, that was the initial goal, and then we go from there. So it's good to be at this point and good to push forward.
Hi everybody, I'm Missi Matthews. Welcome to the Extra Point presented by Microsoft Surface. As Coach Tomlin and the players said following the win over the Colts yesterday, it is hat and t-shirt time, but that is not the only goal the Steelers have in mind as they get closer and closer to the playoffs. One more game to go in the regular season. Let me introduce you to my panel today to dissect the crazy game and what happened in the second half here at Heinz Field. Mike Prisuta from the DVE Morning Show, kind enough to join us on his week off from his real job. We also have Craig Wolfley of DVE and Steelers Nation Radio and former Steelers outside linebacker and Hall of Famer. I'm never going to not say Hall of Famer, I've decided. Arthur Moats is here to join us. And guys, we were just talking before we came on air at halftime. I don't think a lot of people had hopes that this game would turn out the way that it did, the Steelers winning 28-24. So, Prisuta, what is the biggest thing that stood out from yesterday's win of the Steelers righting the ship and getting away from that losing streak?
They played better. And, you know, to kind of illustrate that, that was pretty much the point Mike Tomlin made after the game, that they threw the ball better, they caught the ball better, they blocked the ball better. I want to give you two plays to me that a microcosm of not just that game, but this entire 3-4 game period, if you want to include the win over the JV Ravens. Late second quarter, they've got Deontay Johnson open for a deep touchdown. He breaks inside. Ben throws the ball outside. It's incomplete. Most people probably didn't take notice of that because they were probably already on Twitter bitching about who should be benched and who should be fired and why the offense wasn't working. But in the third quarter, the play comes around again. They get single coverage on Johnson. This time he stays to the outside. He dives where the ball is. Touchdown. Run the route right. Throw the ball on time. Throw the ball on target and catch it when it gets there. It's not that complicated. They did a much better job in the second half doing what they had done for the most part up until that game against the JV Ravens. I don't know why so many things went away. Timing, decision-making, catching, route running, blocking, tackling, finishing at the quarter. I don't know why it all went away at once. That's why I was so exasperated the last time we did this. But I think they got their mojo back.
Well, if you love mojo and Mojo Nation, so do you agree with Prisuta in terms of a second half maybe kind of getting them over that hump and out of that funk?
No question about it. You know, the one thing I remember from my playing days was having the benefit of having lined up with a guy named Terry Bradshaw. And the thing about a guy like Terry Bradshaw is a thing like very much like a Ben Roethlisberger. They're Hall of Famers. They are guys who got a little bit of that magic. Whatever's going on game day, no matter how bad the game has looked, how bad the last several games have looked, you look at this guy and you still believe. And so you still get in the huddle, you still buckle your chin strap, you still ball up your fist, and you go at it because, you know, this guy is capable of pulling it together and pulling your fannies out of the funk, out of the fire, and into whatever you need to be in to be a part of the playoff equation. That came around like a crack the sky moment. You've been waiting. We all do. I mean, you can't help it. That little kid in you, that kid that wants to believe like angels in the outfield, it could happen. You know, that kid that wants to believe like the natural Robert Redford up there with the bat, waiting for that lightning strike and the home run. It could happen, and it did. When he laid it out to Deontay Johnson and Deontay Superman that catch, I'm telling you, by golly, right then, I was screaming at home. I'm going, look at that, look at that. That's just what they need. 3 touchdowns in 11 minutes. I couldn't even heat up 2 burritos. It was such quick scoring past that time there, right? I mean, that's something. That's what they needed.
11 minutes to heat them up or 11 minutes to heat them up and eat them?
Oh, yeah. Well, no, the consuming part goes much quicker than the heating them up.
Okay, Arthur, give us your biggest takeaway from yesterday and the Steelers coming back from a 17-point deficit.
Man, the biggest takeaway that I have is they can do this. They can do some of the things that Prisuta and Wolf spoke on in terms of getting that timing back, in terms of being more physical, in terms of just not being predictable. Man, seeing that second half, that brought back all of those feelings. That reassured to us that the things that we've been speaking on this team and asking them to do, They are capable of doing that. We're not insane. We're not mad. No, they can do these things. And we saw them do it against a really good Colts team. Not great, but still good. This is a team that under normal years would be a playoff team. Now, this year it's a little bit different, but this is still a 10-plus win team, man. And to see them come out there and have that second half and put it all together, not only on offense, but in all three phases in that second half, man, and get the turnovers that we wanted as well, get the explosive plays. To me, it just, like I said, reassures every feeling that we've had about this team and knowing that they have the potential to do some really special things this year.
All right, we'll go backwards very quickly. I'll start with you, Arthur. In terms of defense, who stood out to you or what play stood out to you yesterday?
Man, well, obviously the two people that stand out to me the most, T.J. Watt, his play was phenomenal. I loved it. I thought it looked like what it was supposed to look like. When they said that Chaz Green was going to be taken over, man, I thought that should be a matchup that T.J. dominated, and he did from start to finish. But I would be remiss if I didn't talk about Mike Hilton. I mean, let's be real. What he did from start to finish in that game, timely play after timely play, both in the run game and the pass game, creating turnovers. I know somebody up here feels that he should have scored, but the referee tackled him. The referee was in the way, all right? So we're going to let that slide. But outside of that, I thought Mike Hilton, man, he really stood out to me.
Okay, Wolf, what about you in terms of defense?
Oh, love me some Mike Hilton. I'd love me some T.J. Watt. But, you know, I got to go Cam Hayward and Steph Tuitt. I got to tell you something. That was the battle of the T-Rexes. It was like watching Jurassic Park come to life at Heinz Field with helmets and shoulder pads on. That was fun to watch. I love it. That's the way football was meant to be played. Low pad level. Let's see who's standing at the end of 60 minutes. That's old-time football. That was a great slugging match in the middle of that both sides of the ball trenches.
All right, Prisuta, what about you?
I got to go with Vince Williams coming back from the reserve COVID-19 list. I'd seen some posts of his on social media. He said it felt like he smoked 8 packs of cigarettes, and something of that along those lines. I don't think I'm quoting him exactly, but I can't imagine that's a day at the beach. And for him to not only come back, 69 defensive snaps, 100% of them, he was out there in the dime at the end of the game when they're trying to hold the lead. Now, that's not his ideal thing. They don't normally, Devin Bush is supposed to be that guy, not Vince Williams. And, coverage isn't his strong suit, but he was out there, doing what he could. He was there for his team. And I'm sure he was an inspiration to that defense and a leading force on that defense, which did get better as the game went along. And, maybe they showed themselves something in the process about, hey, just because we're out here X number of minutes or just because we're out here without this guy and this guy, the job can still get done. I really respected the way Williams played yesterday, how much he played more than anything else.
Not to cut you off, just one quick note on Vince Williams. Avery Williamson spoke to the media this morning. He said that Vince was still having trouble breathing, was doing a lot of oxygen on the sideline. So just the fact that he stuck with it and was doing whatever he could to be out there for them to help secure the win. We have much more to talk about here on the Extra Point, including that halftime speech and what the guys think they would do if they were given the chance to give one. We'll be right back.
I think there are a lot of things talked about at halftime, but, it just, when you're having fun playing the game, things can happen differently. And so you're right. It didn't look good at the end of the half, but that's why you get a halftime to make adjustments and to gather yourself.
Now they start at the 41, and a deep ball it is. The man is there, and it is caught. What a catch! Deontay Johnson holds it in from Roethlisberger.
I think that we've been throwing some underneath stuff, and you got to take your shots when they're there, and we did that, and we had a couple big plays down the field.
All right, welcome back to the Extra Point presented by Microsoft Surface. Guys, we learned following yesterday's win over the Colts that Ben Roethlisberger and Maurkice Pouncey stood up and said some words to their team to try to get them motivated to come back and have fun, according to Ben. In the second half, they did just that. They got the win. So I want to know, if you were Ben, or you could just be yourself, I want your best halftime speech, what you would say to the players. I'm going to give everybody 30 seconds on the clock. Prisuta, you are first. On your mark, get set, go.
Great moments are born of great opportunity. And that's what you have here today, boys. If we played them 9 times, if we played them 10 times, they might beat us 9. But not in this second half. In this second half, we stay with them. In this second half, we play with them because we can. No, actually, that's Herb Brooks from the 1980 Russian game. What I would have told them was, guys, just do what you're capable of doing, and most of us can take next week off. We can wrap this division up, be done with it, get that bye week we wish we would have had a long time ago, and be playoff ready.
Time. Okay. All right, Wolf, let me get 30 more seconds on the clock. Ready, set, go.
I won't need 30 seconds. The best halftime speech was Coach Knoll. Coach Knoll would come in a very professorially, you got that? I can't even do that right. He comes in and he's very, very calm. And he says, men, this is all about winning, and winning's fun. Let's go have some fun. You know, I respect Coach for that, and I'll say this and the reason why. He always said from the very first moment I met him, he always said, if you need me to motivate you, you're in the wrong place.
All right, I like it. Okay, Arthur, I'm going to put 30 seconds on the timer for you. Ready, set, go.
I'm going to tell you from firsthand experience what Ben says, because I've been in the halftime locker room with him when he's giving one of these speeches. He starts out by this: hey guys, I'm not having a lot of fun. I don't think you guys are having a lot of fun. I'm playing like poo right now. But what do we have to do? We all have to come together. Each person doing their job. We got to be cogs on a wheel. Moats, I need you to be a cog. Pouncey, I need you to be a cog. TJ, you be a cog. And we're going to look up at this thing, and we're going to be like, wow, we did that with our hat and T-shirts. Let's go out here and win. Bam! That's how you got to do it right there, man. That's what 7 says at halftime. Now, granted, that was like the nice abbreviated version.
We appreciate that this is a family program. Okay, so Arthur, let me ask you this, because as you said, you have been in the locker room with 7 before. Why did it work yesterday and maybe not one of the other games where we saw that it just felt like they could not win those games?
Yeah, a lot of times, man, we'll hit on this when it comes to motivation, right? If you need to motivate players, man, sometimes you got the wrong people around you. But at the same time, sometimes you need motivation to provide that spark. But the spark is just that, a spark. Without the execution following it, it's only going to be there for a very short amount of time and it's going to leave you. So yesterday, what did we see? After halftime, you come out, you hit the pass to Deontay Johnson, you get a couple stops on defense, and now that spark turns into something that is fire. So I think that was the biggest difference in terms of what we saw yesterday versus some of these other games where he might have spoke and you get a spark, but you don't have the rest of the execution that's needed. You're not hitting on these deeper passes. You're not creating turnovers and getting off the field defensively. To me, I thought it was just a mix of all of that, but you can't get that without that initial spark. And I thought that's what Ben gave them at halftime.
Okay, guys, we're going to take one more break here on the Extra Point. When we return, we're going to talk about playoffs and what you guys would do in terms of resting starters or not resting starters on Sunday in Cleveland. We'll be right back.
What's up, Steelers Nation? It's Vince Williams. Thanks for watching the video. Make sure you like and comment below. And don't forget to subscribe to the Steelers official YouTube channel. Thanks again. Here we go, baby.